Hello, I'm Audree Grubesic, and I'm the founder of Offsite Dirt. I'm here with our amazing experts and team on Offsite Dirt for this Wednesday LinkedIn Live. And so today we've got several of us together and kind of giving you the recap of what has happened in February and future plans for March. I'm going to throw it over to our friend Aron Jones, and he's going to kind of give us an update of how the International Builder Show went this year.
Ah, well, my name's Aron Jones. I'm a carpenter and a builder on Grand Manan Island in New Brunswick, Canada. I'm also a passive house, a certified tradesperson, and IBS kicked off with a bang. Monday was a one-day building science symposium. Day 2 and 3 were kind of a blur for me. I had a few presentations and got to sit down with at the Sashco booth where we did a little BS and cold brew because it was 9 a.m. and it was a little too early. Another highlight was Uber Woods recognized a lot of the building science chapters. A lot of people who started BS and brew little groups across, well, North America. Um, the startup the startup zone, where you see new and innovative products. That was very interesting. Uh, Sean Santamore is not with us today, but Sean and I got to visit some old friends there, and some new friends. Um, Be Public was up on the other side of construction performance. And if you know Edie and Jonah, great people to talk to about, modular prefab building. Let's see. The rain stick was a very interesting product. If you're not familiar with it, basically it recycles and filters your shower water as you're using it. And just an amazing product for modular construction, and especially if you live in an area where water is an issue. And if you don't live in an area where you need to worry about water, wait about 10 years. Might change your mind. Oh, I could keep going for another hour about all the things we saw. Really, I could. I would be remiss if I didn't mention Timber HP. I'm really excited about that product. Just a little ways south of me, across the border in Maine, in Madison, Maine, Timber HP has started up, and they are producing wood fiber insulation. I've been fortunate to see the plant, and it was great to see them at IBS. Timberfill is in full production, so you have another option that is carbon negative besides besides cellulose. The timber bat, I believe, is out very, very, very soon, and I think late this year we're going to see timber board. And literally, they have a direct line from a dam, a hydroelectric dam, before the grid. They're that close to that dam. So the amount of resources they use producing this insulation is just so incredibly small. And it's a wonderful story too. Anyways, enough about IBS and a segue to Timber HP. I'm going to toss it over to you, Joe.
Thanks, Aron. Joe Konopacki with Insight Property Services. We do building consulting in the Chicagoland area, from home inspections, energy audits, and certifying new Energy Star and LEED certified buildings. I was at IBS for just a few days, had some personal stuff to go take care of. But the short time I was there, again, blown away. Even if you have, if you're there every day that the show is going on, you have a hard press to get through all that. You've got to kind of study all the exhibitors and kind of make your short list. Because all it takes is, stopping at one booth and chatting with somebody you can chat away for 15 minutes, 20 minutes, easy. And then now you're behind on your schedule. So we had some really good conversations with some product manufacturers for tool belts, tool holsters, and that kind of stuff. Just kind of applies to some of the trainings that we're doing. We got a lot of guys that are trying to outfit themselves for their new careers. I hung out with the Zender guys doing their high performance ventilation. I know they sponsored the performance construction zone and a couple projects there. So they got a bunch of great ventilation equipment for when you're making or building that super airtight insulated home. You need your biggest piece of equipment now is the ventilation system. It's not a heater, it's not a furnace, it's not an AC, it's ventilation. The thing at the show that I was kind of surprised to see, and there's two of them there, were basically they were freshwater makers by condensing atmospheric humidity. And I'm like, so it's a big dehumidifier. They're like, well, if you want to call it, it's a big dehumidifier, right? Because you're basically just sucking the humidity out of the air. So you're creating yourself a cold surface. And they're like, yep. I just found it interesting that they have, to call it residential size, it's more like a commercial piece of equipment that somebody would have at their house to suck the water out of the air. And I'm thinking, if you had solar panels creating the electricity to run, it's a refrigeration system, run the effectively a big dehumidifier, suck the humidity out of the air. Now you got distilled water, add a little mineral, remineralize it a little bit, and you get your drinking water. So if you're somewhere where it's humid and you're surrounded with salty water, that might, and it's sunny, that might be the perfect combination. But anywhere else, I think it's kind of a niche application there. But again, blown away every time I go to that show where you see all, some products where you're like, I can't believe, nobody's got this. I can't believe it's taken so long for this product to come out. And they see other products where you're just like, you guys, what's that total addressable market? Like, I don't know how many people are in your total addressable market there, Chief, but good luck. Sell 1 million. That was my closeout to people. Like, I hope you sell 1 million, man. So, but Karen, what's going on in your world?
Hi, everybody. My world is Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and I did not make it to the Builder Show this year, so you're not going to hear any updates from me on that. I've been there so many years, and it is exhausting and overwhelming. One thing I do know that happened out there is the builder that I had the pleasure of working for the bulk of my career in the DC market, those two business owners won the Lifetime Achievement Award from NAHB. So I was really excited to see that, and they totally deserve it. So yeah, I'm in Pittsburgh and I'm a consultant. I am just a big fan of building better houses in all ways possible, whether that's a high performance home or better trained people, a better, more diverse work environment for them. So workforce development has been a passion of mine, and I've done a couple shows on Offsite Dirt about that. And so I've really gotten excited over the last year about weatherization assistance programs that are available in the state of PA, many states. And our weatherization assistance program is managed by Penn Tech College. They have a clean energy center. They've got 3 locations in the state, and I'm going to go see one finally this Wednesday. I'm going to travel. The closest one to Pittsburgh is about a little over an hour southeast of us, and we are working hard to get one of these new centers in Pittsburgh. So there's a contingent of us headed down there to check it out. So really looking forward to that. And some other things that I've learned recently related to clean energy workforce development. If folks want to go to greenworkforceconnect.org, that is an amazing resource put out, created by IREC, which is escaping me right now what IREC stands for, IREC. IRECUSA.org is the association behind this, and they've created this Green Workforce Connect website that's just amazing to help connect people into clean energy jobs, including weatherization, solar. We got a lot of people that are going to be out there installing a whole lot of electric heat pumps and heat pump water heaters in the coming years. So we're getting this workforce ready. And another webinar that I recently attended that I think is really cool for folks to check out is a program called 1000 Home Challenge, which had actually been started by one of the folks responsible for starting this is a local Pittsburgher, Linda Wigington, a powerhouse in the IAQ space. And the goal of the 1000 Home Challenge is to demonstrate the potential and practicality of reducing total annual site energy consumption of existing North American homes by 70% or more. And they started in 2017, 18, 19, somewhere a couple years before the pandemic. And at this point, they've got about 35 homes in their challenge so far. So we got a long way to go. I'm going to sign my home up pretty soon. I've been starting some of my own DIY projects that will help the house to qualify. So that's what I have to share with everybody so far today. I do actually, excuse me, Audrey, I wanted to go back and give a shout out this rain stick product. It's so amazing that you brought that up, Aron. A very good friend of mine, Azumi Tanaka, she has a podcast called Home Green Home. She just put out an episode where she interviewed the folks behind rain stick. So that just came across my attention just last week before IBS. And I also want to hear you, Aron, elaborate on timber board. Is that a structural insulated panel? Is that what that means?
No, it would be similar to like Gutex. So it's going to be a rigid wood fiber insulation. And it's just not going to have to come from across the pond. It's going to be made very local. And hopefully we start to see a couple more plants fire up, across North America, because they're making it from waste in the lumber industry anyways, 100% renewable. And as long as you're not doing stupid things to produce it, it really is going to be carbon negative. And I don't know, I'm just seeing it as a total win.
Yeah, it sounds like it. That's great. Thank you for elaborating.
No problem.
It's good to see, like especially like their board product. It's good to see an exterior insulation product that's not like a foam product. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think every home is better for continuous insulation. And if you end up putting foam board on your house, do it. But I've also seen some houses with rental properties where somehow the tenants managed to start the foam insulation on fire behind the siding. I have no idea how, but the place went up like a marshmallow, like angry yellow orange flames. And the fact that my cousin had dense packed all of the walls prior to doing the foam board and siding, no smoke got into these units. No smoke got into the units. Now, the wall of the house hemorrhaged from all the water that the fire department sprayed into the cellulose. Anyway, any product that you can put on the house that'll insulate and not burn like a marshmallow, that's a big plus. And it sequesters carbon, right? The tree absorbs the carbon. The tree gets minced up to turn into studs. We'll take the cuttings and scraps off of that, turn that into insulation, put that on a building. Cellulose is great for that same product, for the same properties, but you weren't getting it in a rigid board form, right? Cellulose wasn't available. Just recently, it's available in kind of spongy bats, which is nice in and of itself. If you wanted a non-flammable board insulation, you'd have to go with like a mineral wool Roxol product or something like that, which works too, right? So nice to have options.
So for many
the biggest thing,
just
Go
real
ahead,
quick,
Audrey.
Aaron, we actually did a story on Opal Architecture and Timber HP. Mark and I did one on April 13th of 2023. We actually interviewed them when that factory was going up. And yeah, I heard that there is rumors that there's one going to be coming very soon on the West Coast as well. So big fan of their product and creating something. And from my understanding, this product has been created overseas. This isn't something new. This has been established before, right? So yeah, it's pretty interesting.
The repurposing
Yeah,
old paper
it's-
mills.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the story in Madison, Maine right now is pretty incredible. Just to see, I was very fortunate to visit, and you can see a community coming back to life. So it's an amazing story. But yeah, this is not brand new technology. This has been used for decades in Europe. And they're also doing some things, the way they're producing it, that makes it more user friendly for tradespeople. I won't get into all the details, but the way they add borate to their fiber is completely different than the way you add borate to cellulose, and less dust, less stuff flying around. I don't have scientific data, but I would say there's probably in the range of like 60% less particulates in the air when you're installing, which is like very substantial if you're an installer. It's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, Matt O'Malia, he is the architect that started doing high performance build. And so it's his company. He's one of the owners in that factory. And so you can kind of see how high performance building science, you start as and he was a traditional architect that moved into high performance, and now he has even expanded into materials. So it is an ever growing, evolving industry, which makes it so exciting, doesn't it?
That's awesome.
Yeah,
It's
Do
great.
we
it's
know,
amazing.
isn't timber HP being used with one of the factories, or did I make that up?
I don't know if
Or
they have a
contract?
contract yet. I would love
Okay.
to see it, but hopefully, I mean, that
Yeah.
would be super fabulous. Maybe a panelized company will probably be the first ones to use it. They always seem to dip their toes in first before a volumetric or, a modular company, just because it's different applications and figuring out that assembly line focus. But I think it would be cool to see, Karen. I think that's definitely manifesting that out there for all of us.
Yes, factories call timber HP.
That's right. That's right. So many of you may not know this, but I actually got to go to Advancing Prefab, and I met Sneha Kumari, one of our contributors who has a show called Leanify, and she talks about lean manufacturing. So it was excellent to see her. We also got to see Kent Anderson and Paula, who are actually they work with Wesco, and Kent is the new business development manager there. So we've got to hang out with them as well, which was super fun. This was a really interesting conference. One of the most amazing things was the roundtables of individuals, and the conference held about 1,200 people. It was in Denver, Colorado. It was at the Colorado Convention Center. They had 8 tracks. They had about 140 speakers. Got to visit with many interesting individuals from Bolt, which is a company that created this whole system to help with opioids in Alaska and in Native American countries. So they are creating these modular wellness centers. They're on their 3rd one, and they are really executing this amazing team. And they also work with Dirt, DIRTT, which is a prefab company that provides systems, wall systems, furniture, anything that goes inside those buildings. They actually have prefabricated products, and they're actually located here in Savannah, Georgia. I'm hoping to go see them at their factory. I got to meet Benjamin Urban, who is the CEO of the company, along with a couple of other individuals. The exhibit floor was fabulous. We had companies from all over the world come, and a lot of MEP engineering conversations about connections and how they go into these system builds, and how they are also utilizing standardized construction in order to use their prefabulated or their prefabricated product. We also got to meet with Simon Harkin, who is with Modular Power Solutions. He's the one that ran the roundtable. And I was telling the team before this, in all of my years doing projects, listening to developers, listening to engagement all over the world, this was my first one takeaway, which was really special. So they have data centers that they created with, let's just say, a couple of hundred floors. And what they did was, there was 3 box sizes, and they created a steel frame design structure for one of their boxes. So For many of you that may not know about modular construction, they are modules that are assembled and they are transported to the site, and there's a sequencing that takes place in order to place these boxes. And the sequencing isn't a one row goes up, then the other. It's kind of like a triangle of how these boxes maneuver and connect together. So there's always a situation that seems to happen because it's construction that maybe one of the boxes or the sequence is off. So having these steel frame structures on site and being able to plug and play one of those inside that design element then creates the function of keeping to stack them. And then when that other box comes or that other module, they're able to simply pull out that steel structure and place in the live box that is supposed to go there. That is so genius and has never been discussed in how many years that I've been involved in this. So you're getting a huge insider on modular. And, when you're talking with your assembly team and you're talking about your set team and figuring out how these tolerances take place with setting these buildings, these are all things that need to be discussed in your pre-construction team at the very beginning. Sequencing your building should start in pre-construction, believe it or not. It doesn't happen at the end when that building's going out the door. It all happens prior to that. So it was a really exciting opportunity. Got to talk with Jason Hannon. He is with Whiting Turner Construction. They have a huge project of student housing that's going in California. Got to talk with him. I also got to talk to Stephen Matchek, he is one of the design developers for CVS Health, which I never knew had a modular division and looking to create industrialized construction structures and stuff in those buildings, which is cool. And then lastly, got to see Blocks. So Blocks is a modular company that their specialty is emergency rooms. So they do volumetric, and they started in a manual factory, and over the last couple of years, they have transformed that factory into a robotic factory. This is the most amazing thing about it. They have probably about 10 softwares that they use for, machinery communication, assembly line focus, data analysis, supply chain. And it took them 2 years to program this data in order to have that factory fully function and running to the capacity of where it is now. I say that only because we look at innovation with offsite solutions, and I think the thing that we continue to start seeing is the digital transformation of what's happening with BIM and all of these other softwares, and to have them speaking and communicating and planning and creating that data really does take a long time. And to have those key components in order for your factory to work at high efficiencies is becoming more and more and more of a conversation. Lastly, they also had an awards night, and Offsite Dirt was actually nominated, and I actually was nominated too for an award. Luckily, well, not luckily, we didn't win, but we were certainly profoundly grateful for being a part of that and being announced and recognized. So here's to all of our team. We actually did something really stellar, and we were recognized for it.
Yay! That's
Congratulations.
great. It's a great update.
Yeah, so lots of things
Nominated.
happening.
Nominated this time. Next time you're gonna win it.
We're all winners on my team. That's kind of how I see it. I feel like we get these updates of information and technology and innovation in so many different facets. I love hearing about construction and building and high performance. So there's a lot of high performance in building science that people are really considering now into these factories. So we are achieving something that makes it exciting to see how we can design and build for our future and for more sustainability. And that was another thing. Amy Marks was the keynote speaker, and the last day she really kind of dug into sustainability, carbon, measuring carbon, how are we doing this in our industry, and what we can do right now in order to be more prepared for it. So it was great conversations there.
One of the best thing about those shows is just the meeting of the minds, and having great conversations, learning new things, seeing new products, learning, new solutions to problems that are, kind of smacking you in the face. When you see them, you're like, can't believe I haven't learned that sooner. So
yeah, and I think the connections, right? One of the main focuses every year, Amy always brings up, make sure you meet 5 new people. just go out there and meet 5 new people. It's amazing what you can stir up and find out, like CVS Health, never knew about, they have a different program. They have different things that they're doing with their facilities. They have a nonprofit arm with their existing buildings that are not being fulfilled. They also have this arm about affordable housing that they're starting to invest in. So you can see healthcare is changing into the affordable solution as well. This is not just a construction industry situation. This is a fully global situation that people and companies are really trying to jump in and seeing how they can be a part of it.
Yeah.
Great.
There are so
I go
many
to point.
issues that offsite can be a solution for. We've got ongoing zoning legislation being considered right now in the city of Pittsburgh to potentially build some managed tiny home communities to help house our unhoused. And every time I see the news about it or attend one of the public hearings, I just keep thinking we got to get a factory to build these things. We got to get these things on a line and, you know, spit them out because we need them.
Yeah.
I try to go out of my way at least once a year to go to an event that, you know, is not really on your radar. And that's how I ended up meeting some of the people that are setting up the Offsite Construction Research Center. Still don't have my voice back from IBS. But Audrey, I've mentioned this to you already, and I don't know if you've passed it along, but the University of New Brunswick has started an Offsite Construction Research Center, and they're developing curriculum that is going to go before, I forget which board, but you're going to be able to go through, get your engineering degree with a splash of building science and a splash of offsite systems. So there's going to be people that are going to be trained that are going to be able to help improve not only, you know, resilient, durable buildings, but, you know, whether it's panelized, modular, somebody's going to be able to efficiently operate the system so these factories can run at their full potential.
You know, another big conversation that was happening at the Advancing Prefab, Karen and I were talking about it, is workforce. And it is very interesting how these manufacturers are starting at the high school level of bringing these individuals for work, force entry, so that they can have, like, you know, let's say they have a half a day at school and then they have 2 days a week that they can come to the factory and train. We're starting to also see that at the college level. Shop Class Podcasts. I know maybe many of you might know Ron. He's in New York. We're actually doing, Offsite Dirt is actually doing a program with them that we're going to bring next month about a project that they are doing. So we can constantly start seeing the evolution of workforce and how we're integrating more people. We're starting at the high school level, the college level, like you were saying, Aron, bringing these, you know, university programs. There is also, we actually did a story on Offsite Dirt with Gary Vermis, and he has a he actually put together a college program for or an accredited program called Stone Pile, so that if you wanted to get into the business of offsite solutions and really understand what that means in that kind of construction management, there is, I mean, we're starting to expand and start seeing these amazing opportunities for people to dig in and research and to learn at a different level.
That's amazing. Aron, what was the college that was doing or the program?
It's the Offsite Research Center at the University of New Brunswick.
Very cool.
And Aron's going to bring the interview to us, right, Aron? You're going to bring that up. I feel it. I feel it. I feel like you could do this.
I'm pretty sure that's going to happen. I actually have a meeting with one of the gentlemen involved Wednesday. And he's got a really interesting story as well. And you know what? I'm not going to spoil it.
Don't spoil it, then. Don't spoil it. It just makes me happy.
Just tease it.
It's going to be good. That's all I'm going to say. It's going to be amazing. Everybody should watch. Everybody should send it to 10 friends.
There we go. There you go. So
it is going to be amazing.
Quickly,
I'm going to tease one too.
Yeah, go ahead. Go for it.
You're talking about offsite construction. We're talking about workforce development. There's a builder in the Chicagoland area doing infill lots. And he's doing just that. He's training his workforce at their production facility. They truck out the units, assemble them on site, and they're some of the tightest places that we've been testing. And they're simple and straightforward, and good looking. And, they have variable facades, so they don't look, cookie cutter, but they have the efficiencies of, a nice, simple design, interior design, yeah, we'll see if we can't get the principal and founder of that company on Offsite Dirt to answer some questions. But he's got a great team of folks, great organization, and it's inspiring what they're doing.
I love that. Everybody has these conversations when you are a speaker about modular versus manufactured and what that means and the stigma that goes behind it. But let me just say this: modular is not manufactured, right? We can debate this all day long. And here's the thing: I would rather have a 2-story or 3-story apartment building that was modular, because one, I know that it's going to be made well. And here's the thing: everybody's worried about what it looks like, but I can tell you the person that's inside that home, that has a home, he and she are happy of however it looks. To be able to live in a place like they can call their own. I think we're getting hung up on the wrong things, and I think we need to start thinking about the people that live inside of them. And we also know that modular construction is a healthier form of construction, less disruption on site, less material waste. There's 40% of material waste that goes into the landfill from construction materials. It's not from modular.
Also, I'd like to bring up that from a tradesperson perspective, if you can provide somebody a relatively climate controlled, well lit, clean place to work where they don't have to lift anything anymore, and allow them to stay in the workforce, you've got an opportunity there to maybe extend somebody's career in the industry 5, 10, 15 years. And last time I checked, we need everybody to stay for at least another 15 and then some. So
we do.
there's options
We
there.
and I every time we talk about the environment of working, in offsite and in a factory versus traditional construction sites, I love to say the bathrooms are way better. But yes, the other opportunity I want to point out for those of you that are getting to the point that maybe your body is not able to continue doing what it's been doing for 30 years on a traditional construction site, if you're interested, go work in a factory, as Aron brought up. I'm also going to encourage you to look for an opportunity to become a trainer and an educator, because in order to put all of these people into the workforce, we need people who are not just educated on education, that they can't just be educators. We need the real world experience. We need your 30 years of stories of all of the problem solving that you did and the ways that you overcame that. We need the real life stories. So all of you that your bodies can't do it anymore, bring it into a classroom and help the next generation learn the lessons that you had to learn.
That's great,
Amen.
Karen.
Very well done. So we are in March, and the next event that I will be attending, which is March 18th through the 22nd, is World of Modular. I have never been, and I am so stoked about it. From what I understand, there's a whole bunch of global partners that will be showing up. It's one of their largest events ever. And also, Offsite Dirt is going to be on a panel of other experts, media experts, kind of talking about the industry and what it looks like and the stories that we get to tell about the industry. So that's my March thing. What's going on with you, Joe? You got anything coming up this month?
Got some trainings going on. We've got our building science principles training going on tomorrow, following that with a ducted envelope tightness verifier course. So Illinois finally adopted the 2021 IECC Energy Code with a few Illinois amendments, but ultimately houses have to be tighter. All duct systems have to be tested for leakage. And so we're going to be teaching a good number of folks on Wednesday that. And then we've got some other trainings, and then helping homeowners make their homes better one house at a time. So how about you, Aron? What do you got coming up?
Oh, besides work, March 6th is Jobber Summit. That's a free online event, and that's more geared towards business owners and people that want to be in business. But if you can show up for something that's free and learn how to not make really expensive mistakes, always take advantage of free education. March 7th, yes, March 7th, we Passive House Accelerator has reimagined buildings. That's a 24-hour online, attend from anywhere in the world. Um, I'm not going to let the cat out of the bag. Just go register. I guarantee you, even if you think you know everything, there's going to be nuggets all over that show that are going to be valuable to you. Then I think I almost made it to check in the dates, but I think it's March 21st. JLC Live starts in Rhode Island. I'm going to be down there with Ben Bogey, and we're going to be doing some high performance stuff. And the Thursday before, I am going to be giving a quick presentation on building science for anyone. So if you don't think you know anything about building science and you've been in the industry for more than 5 minutes, I guarantee you, you do. You just don't know that you do. Come see me. We'll sort it out together. It'll be the beginning of an amazing journey. That's it for March. That's all I can fit in.
You probably still have a backlog of emails that you had to ignore last week while you were in Vegas. So fair enough.
Yeah.
Emails, punch lists, something in between there.
What have we got, Karen?
This month, as I mentioned, I'm headed this week to the Clean Energy Center. Very, very excited about that. And then at the end of the month, I will be back again for the second year in a row to the Penn State's Pennsylvania Housing Research Center annual conference, which ironically, at that conference last year is where I first learned about Penn Tech College's Clean Energy Center and their weatherization programs, and became infatuated with what they're doing and have been following them. So it's a really nice bookend to my month to finally get to see one of their facilities and then head back to the same conference where I first got to meet everybody. So those are the two things that I'm most excited about this month.
Wonderful. So there is so much going on, so much that we have learned. Make sure to check out our events calendar. Many of the events that Aron had mentioned are there along with others, so you can always click on it, find out more about it very quickly on our events page on Offsite Dirt. Thank you all for being here. Thank you, Joe, Karen, and Aron. We miss the rest of the crew. We love you guys. We know that you're busy and you're out there doing your thing, and just want to celebrate with you on all your wins, all your successes, and always thank you for being here. And that's all the dirt on Offsite Dirt.